So you're thinking about selling your home and hiring an agent? Before you do, stop, be careful, pay attention. There's a reason why most people end up completely miserable on the real estate agent choice, and it's because there's 19 things that are seldom talked about, little known, and that most agents don't want you to know about, that we're gonna dive into every single one of them in this video so that you know exactly what to look for, what to interview for, and how to sniff out the BS. So if that's what you're looking for and you want to be an expert interviewer to make the right choice, well, we're going to go ahead and get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living, breathing, playing, the good, the bad, the ugly here in San Diego, and you're thinking about making a move, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that bell for notifications so you're the first to know of any video we put out here and any changing market conditions. My name is Dan Beer, and every single day, people just like you send us text messages, phone calls, emails looking to make a move here to San Diego, California, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're making a move in 9 days, 9 months, or 9 years, go ahead, send us a message, give us a phone call, give us a text, and we'll help you make that smooth move here to San Diego. All right, let's jump in. I do want to mention, I'm going to give you 19 things. We're going to go really in depth. Having said that, I'm going to make sure to chunk it down so none of it is overwhelming and you can put it all into action because you're already steps ahead of most people in that you're doing the research. I want you to have a tool that you can genuinely use and be ahead. So first thing is there a personal website versus just the corporate site? And I'll go ahead and write these all down for you. So the personal site, and there's a reason why I'm emphasizing the word personal. Most agents are going to try to give you the head fake, meaning they're going to show you the big corporate site, the RE/MAX site, the EXP site, Keller Williams site, Coldwell Banker site, Century. It doesn't matter what brokerage. You cannot accept the corporate site. There's a reason why they have to have a personal site that they're going to put in front of you. And the reason for that is on the corporate site, they don't have typically the tools to then go back into the back end of the website and see who's looking, whose information is captured, how many views on the property, all these very specific things that they need to be able to get out in front of the marketplace and actively prospect, actively push, actively move your property instead of just playing the waiting game. Also, the reason why it's so important is most corporate sites, once it hits that site, well, you're already on the MLS accumulating market time. But they have to have a way, instead of getting all the pre-marketing done, all of the promotional work, all of the anticipation, building that virtual line at the door without adding the days on market, which is one of the biggest things that buyers are going to look for to try and gouge you down on price, because days on market equals more aggressive offers on the buyer's part. So for those two reasons, you have to make sure they have that personal site. And if we need a third reason for it, well, here's what it is. Most agents, let's face it, there's thousands of them in virtually any market. Here in San Diego, we have about 26,000 agents. So it's also just a way of sifting through the crowd and making sure you find a real professional. All right, the second thing, go to Zillow, find their profile. So it's Zillow Profile. And the reason this one's important is you're busy and you need a quick and easy way to be able to do a number of things. One is see what other people are saying about them. So reviews, that's one of the biggest review platforms in the real estate industry. Go there and don't just take the agent's word for it. Go and see what others are saying about them. Number two is you're going to be able to also see their recent sales. You'll typically be able to see about 12 months worth of sales. So if they're saying, hey, we sell 100 homes a year, but it really turns out to be 10, well, that's a really good place where you can find the truth. Now, is it exactly right? Is it exactly on point? I can tell you from experience, it's about 90, 85% on point in terms of the sales history, but it's never, if they're selling 100 homes, it never says 4. So it's going to be close enough where you can say, okay, this is a really active agent. Clearly people are happy with their service, and just a really good way of getting quick data so you can make your decision. All right, the third thing on the list is going to be, do they have a strong list to sales price ratio? The list to sales price ratio is at what percentage of the asking price do they normally sell the home? Is it 90% of the asking price, 95, 100, maybe 105%? So you need to know their percentage, but to really make sense of it, you also have to know what's the market percentage. Ask the agent that you're interviewing, let me see what the market is, let me see yours, also please prove it. Anybody that is going to be someone that you want to work with is able to show you the data and prove the number. So when you're asking for that, keep in mind that what you're looking for is how does the market perform? How do they perform versus market? Because if they give you a really impressive number, like, oh, we're at 100% of asking price, listed sales price ratio, we're averaging 100%. Well, guess what? There's been markets where the market has actually averaged 102%. So they'd be underperforming, but there's also been markets where the market's averaging 93% and they'd be way ahead. When you understand the relationship between those two numbers, then you're getting what most agents should be aiming for, and absolutely what you should demand, which is that their commission is actually a non-expense. They are able to more than make up for it in that they're going to outperform the marketplace. So that's really good statistic for you to look at. The fourth thing on the list is really related also, very similar to this last one. It's days on market, DOM. So what's the average days on market that agent's listings are documented, proven, not what they say, but documented and proven to be on the market versus what the average market time is for everybody. So you have to know the average days on market for the marketplace and for the agent that you're interviewing, be able to compare them. The reason that's so important is that in real estate, but I think really in anything, if we think about it logically, because sometimes the seller will say, well, hold on, we don't want to sell it too fast. But let's look deeper in on that. If the home has been on the market, put your buyer hat on. If the home has been on the market for 5 days, you show up to a home, market time 5 days, you love the property, it fits all your needs, checks all the boxes. How are you likely to negotiate that home versus if you show up to the same exact home, but it's been on the market for not even an eternity, but something like 30 days, let alone 45 days or 60 days. Absolutely anybody would be making much more aggressive, lower offers as market time grows. And so for those reasons, there needs to be a documented history of less days on market versus what the averages are. All right, let's jump over to the fifth thing, which is going to be a big marketing budget. If you look at the marketing budget, ask the agent to show it to you. And what is it? If you think about it, your property essentially is an entire business plan that needs to be executed. The property has to be presented a certain way, brought to market a certain way, pre-marketed, by the way, a certain way, all the way through closing, and then even beyond that. So to do so, is it, again, what you're really sniffing out is, are these just words the agent is telling me at my kitchen table, or can they show me, prove it to me? Ask for what those marketing budgets are, and see if they're even willing to open up the books and show you what they're doing. Because without budget behind your property, then at the end of the day, all you're really hoping for is, will people just show up based off, simple MLS photos, and now my property is like everybody else's without differentiation. You need to make sure that the agent is investing in the business, their whole business, and by virtue of that, that means they're investing in your property. All right, let's jump over to the next thing, which is connected to the previous, and that is going to be the marketing plan. So here's what you'd ask for. Now, and by the way, as far as marketing plan goes, most agents are going to try to describe their marketing plan, but don't just go with what they say. You take control of the interview, you ask the questions. And so when you're asking the questions, find out, well, what are you planning on doing with your personal site? What is the coming soon campaign, or are you just using the MLS? How are you using photography? How are you using media? How are you going to be reaching my target audience? What do you think the target audience is for a property like mine? Ask all the questions, dig deep, and make sure that they have answers that are going to make sense, and that it's not what I would call random acts of marketing, but rather a plan where every single step builds on the previous and builds on the next, so that everything is interconnected and there's a true plan, a path, and a probable outcome, which is you selling your home for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time so that you can get to where you want to go. And that brings us right to the next item, item 7, which is going to be a sizable database. Okay, now make sure you hear that I emphasize the word sizable. So it could be great that they have a marketing plan, but who are they going to market it to? Or is it, again, just going to be the MLS approach? What thing you can do that any agent with a database can do, and it's not something challenging you're asking them for, it's something they can do like this, is you could say, show me your database, what's the size, also how many people are looking in my area within your database, and can you prove it to me? There's people that have 100 people in a database, there's people that have 1,000, there's people that have 10,000, there's people that have 60,000, there's people that have all kinds of numbers in between. And by the way, there's also people that have zero because they're not keeping a database. So don't, again, go with the head fake of a marketing plan that just sounds good. That's great. We have a marketing plan. Now show me who you're going to deliver it to. And they should be able to do so really easily. Again, this is absolutely one of those things, like we mentioned in the introduction, this is above maybe anything else we've discussed so far. One of the things that most agents do not want you to know about, do not want you to ask, and that's why you should. All right, let's go to number 8. The 8th thing for you to interview on is there a team or solo? It's an interesting industry in which people will have you believe, hey, it's so great. The whole show is me, and there's no one that's going to do anything other than me. Well, I think, again, that's a head fake that any solo agent would give you, because think about the need for a team. Team is so critical, because if you have one person and that one person is sick, is that one person's on vacation, that one person is busy, that one person's in an appointment, your entire sale's on pause because there's nobody to answer the phone that's ringing in the background, handle the fires with title, with escrow, with appraisers, with lenders, everything in between. There's a lot of moving steps in real estate, not to mention the marketing that has to be happening. So, do you have a team of experts? That's what you would want to demand, a team of experts where you could see that the marketing department's going to do what they do, the listing department, the buyers are being helped, the phones are being answered, the follow-up's being done, everything is happening from staging through photography, through video work, all of it, and none of it contingent on one person being available 100% of the time doing absolutely everything, because A, no one's good at everything, and B, no one is able to be everywhere or even in 2 places at once, let alone all the places they need to be. All right, shifting gears to the next. This one's huge, okay, and it's risk reversal. In almost any home sale that you can think of, that you've gone through, that you've witnessed your friends going through, the reality is that the seller takes on the risk of the deal. And the risk comes from multiple angles, multiple places. It's the risk of, did I hire the right person? It's the risk of, am I paying the right commission? Am I getting the right price? All kinds of risks associated to this entire process that we call selling a house. So do you have, in this person that you're interviewing, are they willing to reverse the risk, meaning they'll shoulder the risk on your behalf so that it's on them to perform versus on you to just simply select the right person after a 1-hour interview at a kitchen table? That is critical. So this would be found in the form of guarantees and in the form of, if this happens, that will happen. If we don't perform in this way by this time, then that goes like this. If you're not happy, here's how you can get out of the contract. All of the different components tied to risk reversal. If you are looking for someone confident in what they do, they will have these items. And I can also say this because I network with people across the nation at all brokerages that are all the top performers in their cities, just like we are here in San Diego. And it is a common theme. Every one of them that I can think of uses risk reversal, and the reason why is they're confident in what they're going to deliver, and frankly, they don't want to collect a dime from anybody that's not happy with the result. And that's the way to live in integrity, which also, by the way, means that they're offering these things up front versus you having to ask for them. That's really the litmus test in my mind. Do you have to ask for them, or do they volunteer them? And so that's a huge one for you to look for, and it will signal to you who might be the right person to work with. All right, here we go, moving on. And this is item number 10, and it is the market, crazy looking name, but we'll just keep it. Market positioning report. So the market positioning report, what that means is the traditional process is going to be somebody's going to give you what they call comps. Well, comps are the comparative sales from the past. And then they're using that to say, well, based on those sales from the past, then here's what your home is going to be worth in the future when it comes to the pricing models. So I don't think that we can really only look at the past to predict the future, because if the only thing that mattered was price per square foot, then factually and by definition, the market would literally never move. So there's clearly other factors that are going to be in play and they have to be considered. So sure, let's go ahead and glance at the past. But do we have visibility into what's coming, and is that being presented to you? Are they presenting what's coming, what's on the coming soon market, what's on the completely off market, but through networking, through communication, because all of the top agents talk, and we know what is coming down the pipe, are we taking that into consideration, as well as just making adjustments for factors like inflation, interest rates, etc.? So all those things have to be used in combination to then make a judgment on where the right positioning for the home will be, and not just relying on the typical thing, which is the comps. In fact, I believe that if your agent is just talking about the comps, that's a really good signal that you don't have somebody that is as sophisticated as you would like to demand that they be. And along those lines, we come to the 11th item, which is an equity eval. Equity evaluation. So when you're going to bring your home to market, you don't want to just know about the potential sales price, but you want to have clarity. And this is really an item that touches on transparency. Is there anything that they're trying to hide, slide by, etc.? And so with a true equity evaluation, you want to know not just what the potential sales price could be, but based on various sales prices, based on what you owe the bank, based on the fees that are going to be collected, based on fees that most people don't even want to talk about, like closing costs from escrow, from title, from the city, taxes, transfer fees from the county, etc. Taking everything into account, do you understand how much equity you're going to receive? Because it is so often that we have seen where we talk to people that we're told, hey, you're going to sell your home for $900,000, for $1.5 million, for $600,000, whatever number it might have been. And they, in their own mind, because they didn't get the full explanation, they said, okay, well, then that's the money I can count on. Or maybe they made adjustments for their loan, but not for the other things. And that's the most usual, by the way, is they make the adjustment for the loan they own, but there's other items that they're not thinking about, and then they end up short on what their plans are. So if you don't want to get into that situation, and again, just kind of looking for those signals of, is this agent transparent? Are they bringing me all the information? And are they thinking ahead on my behalf? Will they fight for me? Or do they just want to cash a check? Well, the full equity evaluation is a really great indicator. And tied to that idea of transparency, of doing what you say you're going to do, let's just jump up here. Item 12 is the no hostage agreements. Let me explain. Most listing agreements, if you were to look at 100 listing agreements, 90 something of them, probably 99 of them, maybe 100, depending on which 100 you're looking at, would be locking you in to a 6-month agreement. That's the most typical. Some people will try to lock you into a year-long agreement. And these agreements, you have to understand, are whether you're happy or not. You're just simply stuck with the person. So the experience that most people have is they sign what I'm calling these hostage agreements based on a really nice sales presentation at a kitchen table that took place over an hour, but then you have to live with the person over the course of the entire sale, and if they're not performing, you're stuck. And you're asking, can I get out of the contract? And they either are saying no, or sometimes what they'll do is they'll say yes, but reimburse me for this, that, and the other. So what I would urge you to do, and if you're watching this video, it's, in my opinion, you cannot watch this video and not at the very least implement this one piece, which is you never again, this is like a vow we take together, you never again sign. I don't care if it's here in San Diego, I don't care if it's somewhere else, if you're in any other part of the country and you're just using this video to get your information for selling in your market and then maybe moving to a place like San Diego, you never again sign an agreement that doesn't have in writing, please note, in writing, that the seller can cancel the agreement at any time for any reason and without penalty. Seller can cancel anytime for any reason without penalty. Those are critical words. Now, of course, it's prior to being under contract with a buyer. You can't say, oh, thanks for the deal. By the way, we're canceled. That wouldn't be right. But you have to be able to go to sleep early. You have to be able to, go to sleep early. That's a good idea too. But you have to be able to go to sleep happy every single evening. Wake up happy. And if you're not, you can't be stuck with the most valuable thing in your life. You have to be able to make a move on, and hold that agent accountable to the promises they've made you at the kitchen table. So no hostage agreements. And again, don't wait for someone that you have to ask this of, but instead see if they volunteer it ahead of time, because that will really clue you into their commitment to this and their integrity behind what they do and their work. All right, the 13th item on your interview list. This one's really simple. Pro photos. Even in today's world, we still see the iPhone make its appearance, and it is a travesty. I mean, they're selling a multi-$100,000, if not multi-million-dollar property, depending on the neighborhood here in San Diego, and you cannot stand for unprofessional photography done from a cell phone. Again, if you're in a different market, by the way, I don't care if your marketplace is a $200,000 market, a $400,000 market. Last I checked, your home means everything to you, regardless of its price point. You should be treated accordingly. And any agent that doesn't provide professionally shot photography, preferably in twilight, so that they really stand out when buyers are flipping through listings online. It has to stand out, it has to interrupt the pattern, and it has to say to somebody, hey, we thought enough about this property to invest in the photography in the right and proper way. So we thought enough of it, we think it's valuable, you might want to think it's valuable too, because the reverse is also communicated. We didn't think it was valuable, we shot it with an iPhone. I mean, some of these photos look like they were literally taken with a Polaroid if you just flip through. And it really translates into the psychology that the buyer approaches the home with, because they say, well, the agent didn't seem to think that this home was worth much. Let's go ahead and lowball. So for those reasons, pro photos, enough said, do not ever compromise on that. And the 14th item is, in today's world, photos aren't enough. What is the video strategy? What is the videography that's going to be used for the property? How will that, I mean, look, this is video right now. This is a time and place where people are consuming video. And so is video used in the marketing plan? Is drone photography, or yes, photography, but also videography used? And let me be the first to say, not every property should have drone videography. Let's imagine that you have a drone video of a home where the two neighboring homes are right on top of them. Well, all you're doing is highlighting that the property doesn't have necessarily a ton of space between neighbors. But should you ever be selling a home that does have those things and where the drone photography, drone videography isn't there? Of course not. So just make sure that they have a comprehensive plan on how they're going to use video. But then there's one thing is shooting video, but on also how they're going to deploy it, which would have been tied to one of our previous points in the marketing plan. Where does that show up? Does it show up? Just look for it. Which brings us to, okay, all this has been done, great marketing plan, all those things. But the 15th item, once you get buyers that come to the property, or if they're hearing the ads, seeing the ads online, wherever it might be, is there a call capture system? You cannot just rely on someone seeing an ad and then, hey, hopefully they just reach out and find us somehow. There has to be technology which allows that buyer, that potential buyer, to call in or text message, and their information is immediately captured. Whether the phone was answered, not answered, etc., which, by the way, it should be answered if you're working with a real business and not a one-man show. But you have to be able to capture that phone number so that then you can run all the follow-up and you can do all kinds of remarketing techniques once you own that data. So just ask the agents, really simple question. Just say, hey, what's your call capture system like? And if they look at you with a blank face, you have your answer. They don't have one. And if they're able to just simply explain it, oh, we use this technology, here's how it works, and we capture the numbers as they call it, great. You don't have to go too deep on it. You don't have to turn it into a science project, but you do want to ask the question, make sure you get an answer that makes sense. Now, the 16th one might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised. See, the full-time agent is far more rare than you would ever think it is, especially when market times are really, really good. What happens is you get this huge bloat of agents, and it takes time for a poor market to finally weed them out. So, really simple question again. So, are you a full-time agent or a part-time agent? And don't make it seem like you have a preference either way. Just say, are you a full-time or part-time agent? When you get the answer, follow-up question. Awesome, would you describe your schedule to me? They should be able to describe their schedule. An agent should be able to describe not only what are they doing this Wednesday, but 3 Wednesdays from now, because they have a structure. And so if you ask the question and they can't describe what they're doing, they could say they're a full-time agent, but are they actually working full-time if their day doesn't have structure? That's going to be really unlikely. So are you a full-time agent or a part-time agent? Awesome, whatever the answer was, can you describe your schedule? And then you're going to get a sense of, is this person the one that I want fighting for me in a marketplace where there's competition and where I'm going to need the best result? Is this the person that's going to fight? Is this the person that's going to take it as seriously as it needs to be? Okay, the next item is social media presence. So social media. A little bit of homework on your part. Really simple though. Go to their Facebook profile, go to their LinkedIn profile, go to their Instagram profile, just figure out who they are. Is this the person that just feels like a professional that's gonna represent me? But also, how many people are commenting on their photos and on their videos, on their posts? How many people are liking what they do? How many people are watching their videos? How many people are following them to begin with? Is it 3 or, is there 50 people following them or 1,000 people following them? Because at the end of the day, what you need is, sure, someone that's gonna absolutely fight for you, and someone that's going to be able to have a lot of people to bring the property to. So social media presence is going to tell you a lot maybe about the effectiveness of those marketing plans that they had told you about in the past, and that will give you a big clue. You want someone that's visible. You want someone that's going to be, here's one. You're going to want somebody that when they make a phone call out to other agents asking for their buyers' information, off-market data of what they have coming in the future so that we could price ahead and not behind. Well, their phone call has to be answered. Their social media profiles are going to give you a huge clue into that. Now, a lot of this themes around, do you have a professional behind you? Here's a really simple one before we get to the final item, the 19th item. The number 18 is 52 sales. This one is, again, kind of one of those hard and fast rules, just like never getting into a hostage agreement again. Well, do they have 52 sales over the course of the last year? And note, that is not a lot. I'm not saying they need to have 600, 700 sales. I'm just saying 52. 52 means they're winning once a week, losing 6 days a week. It means that they just have enough of a rhythm where when they bump into anything in the repair negotiations, the deal negotiations, of course, escrow issues, lender issues, appraiser issues, that they're gonna have the experience to be able to navigate them and hold on to your equity so that they could fight for you in a way that gets you what you're looking for while not killing the deal. So do they have 52 sales? Look, people can make the choice to run with someone that is only selling homes, whether they're calling themselves full-time, but do they have full-time results? That's your decision. I think that if you're watching a video like this, you're looking for someone that's truly a pro, 52 sales, it's just sort of a minimum bar. There's people out there, by the way, this isn't some convenient way of saying hire me or anything like that. There's people out there, there's plenty of people that are selling 50, 100, 200. I mean, this gives you literally hundreds of agents to choose from within San Diego County. So it's not like it only leaves you with 3 choices. You still have hundreds literally to choose from. But what it does do is it eliminates about 5,000 something agents that are just simply off the table, making your life easier, letting you focus on finding the right person for your property and still having a great selection so that you make sure that you have the perfect match for who you want to work with. And finally, the 19th, which is control the appointment. Control the listing appointment. Be mindful that when that agent comes to your home, tours the house, sits down, you might have someone that has a plan as far as where they're going to drive the conversation. Now, sure, you want to hear them out, you want to understand what they're going to do, and you absolutely want to understand what their vision is for the property, the marketing plan, the pricing, etc. But you also have to take control of the conversation and make sure that everything you're looking to do and get answered, all the key points so that you can sniff through all of the salesmanship, sniff through the BS, watch for the head fakes, and know what the truth is, that you're able to ask the questions. So make sure you take control of the conversation. Make sure you implement these 19 things. They will make it virtually impossible for you not to get a really great agent that's going to fight for you, represent you, and get you what you want in the shortest amount of time with the best result. I hope you find this helpful. If you're looking to make a move anywhere within San Diego County, we would love to be able to help make everything a lot easier for you. Thanks for tuning in to San Diego Neighborhoods. I'm Dan Beer with Beer Home Team here at eXp Realty, and we'll see you on the next video.